A one, a two, a you know what to do. Hey y'all, this is
Hey,
Paolina
Mervat.
and we are here to do an awesome review of one of the nicest films. I mean, I'm not saying that in like very pleasant way, but really entertaining and powerful film, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Her Mervet. First of all, when did you see this? When did you get a chance to see this movie?
Oh, and it came out like by 2 days.
Sometime last week, right?
Sweet girl, it's been out for a while.
I don't know. I lose track of time. Either way, either
I
way,
mean, it's COVID. Every day seems like the
I
same day.
honestly. So I managed to catch it. Actually, yeah, sometime last week, maybe Friday or Thursdays. Then,
Hmm.
so I saw it
So
with
it's
my
fresh
dad.
on your mind.
Yes, it is absolutely.
Nice.
And this movie is like an hour something, and it felt short. It felt too short for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
Well, it was
mean,
based on a play.
that yes, and I
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I used to watch these kind of plays as a kid whenever we would go on a field trip.
Mm-hmm.
So it was God, what was it? Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. I don't know if you know of that book,
Mm-hmm.
but they also made a play out of it, and then
Yeah.
I believe the sequel, the second book, they had a play too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and A Long Way from Chicago. I can go on. Anyways, this review
Yeah.
is about this lovely, lovely story about the legendary Ma Rainey. Okay. And a bit of a background in case some of y'all don't know, Ma Rainey was an actual blues singer who was very active in the early 1900s, like 1910, between 1910 like 1930s. So for a long time she's been, very very active with her music alongside her husband who was called Pa Rainey, I believe that's the
Mm-hmm.
name.
Yes.
Yeah. So that I found that really really interesting and clever. Pa and Ma Rainey. And basically this movie itself pretty much targets and speaks on a very particular recording session in Chicago back in the 1920s, specifically what 1927, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, Mervet, how did this movie start off, and how are you feeling about
So, well, she's the mother of the blues. Let's say that.
it? Mhm.
And the whole recording session was during her Black Bottom song.
Mhm.
And she's, of course, the star. She's late, an hour late. So her
Mhm.
band gets there before her. And they're in the studio practicing the song, but, not in a way that she would record it, but in a way one of the band members feel like should be because he's still young, music is fresh on his mind. He wants to include more things like that. And that's known as Levy, who's played by the late Chadwick Boseman. So they're there practicing, going off, giving a little background of each of the band members until Ma shows up. And when Ma shows up, you know how good it is, of course. But let's talk about Ma, her character, her presence. Just wow, the way she carried herself. She was labeled as difficult back in the day because she knew her worth. She knew, and she even said in the scene that the white man only wants her music. They don't care about her. So because that she knows that they want her music, she made herself valuable. She made herself worthy. She was as difficult as she can be as they labeled. So we're talking we're on the north side, upper north. She's looked down upon by the blacks and the whites. She owned a vehicle that nobody believed it was hers. We later on, we'll talk about. That scene from the hotel when she's coming down the stairs. Just the minute she stepped her foot down the stairs and walked down, the amount of heads that turned around to look at her. It was just like a showstopper. But it wasn't pleasant looks. It was just like What is this Negro woman doing here? Why is she dressed like that? How could she stay at this upscale place with that attitude, with those clothes on? Who does she think she is? And that excessive amount of makeup she has on her face. I'm sorry, Ma Rainey wasn't pretty to look at. If we're talking about standards of beauty nowadays, or even then, you know?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about it?
Honestly, when I first watched it, I only saw it once, but I had a lot of time to
Mm-hmm.
reflect on it. Um, Honestly, I really do enjoy seeing women, black women, especially at that time period, just,
Mm-hmm.
unapologetically be themselves, because there was a monologue she did halfway into the movie when she was talking about how she had to behave this way to let them know who was boss, because otherwise they would have walked all over her.
Yep.
They would have walked all over her. She knew that all they wanted was her voice. That's it.
Yes.
Because she knows, because once she finishes recording, or when she finishes singing, that's it. They don't care about her anymore. And it made a lot of sense to me, because I'm the kind of person who just, I don't like uppity attitudes. I don't like when people come into a room believing themselves to be the hottest thing since sliced bread. That's just me. I mean,
Mhm.
confidence is fantastic. Yeah, it could be a little cocky. It's nice, but that's just me. When I saw that at first, I was like, and who are you? Understandably. But
For real.
getting into it, learning more about, why she did all of that, it's like, you know what? I would do it too. I would too.
Yeah.
And she knows, she knew it. She did what she did. She was unapologetic about herself in many ways, not only with the makeup and how she dressed, but who she was with too. Who she was with
Which
too.
I loved.
Mhm.
And not a lot of folks knew about her sexuality,
No. Well,
even though it was very present in her music.
no. Or people didn't pay attention.
But I'm glad that they put that little part of the scene
Mhm.
between her and Basie. But I was just, even me myself, I paid attention from the beginning because she got jealous of, so,
Mhm.
how Chadwick was trying to take the spotlight, but at the same time, he was focused on her woman at the time.
Right.
So I'm just like, okay, I get it. But when I was watching it at the beginning, I'm like, wait, that's her daughter? But I was like, when I saw that, I was like, wait, what the F? They're together?
Actually,
It threw me off a little
you
bit.
know what? It didn't throw me off, because I picked up right away that there were other black blues singers who were bisexual. So
Yeah.
it actually didn't surprise me when I saw her and the young man. The young man, though, her nephew, I was like, okay. I didn't know who he was, but I was waiting to see, like, okay, who is this young man? But the woman, though, I was like, I feel like that could be like, that young woman could
Yeah.
be her lover, and I was right. I'm like, well,
Because
that
we
was
talked about her husband, Paul Levy, and I was just like, I mean, Rainey, and I was just like, wait, okay. But they were both openly bisexual,
mm,
which I was like, wow, okay. So why are we still, on the topic of that? It's in our music.
oh yeah,
We celebrate sexuality no matter what.
exactly.
In even her shows, the way she was dancing, the way she was out there, it was open sexually, open verbally.
Hmm.
Her emotions when she's singing, her body when she's singing.
Which is hysterical, because considering
Love
at the
us. I
time,
love our music.
right, like, even considering at the time it was controversial, but you still look right now, there's still some level of
Yes.
controversy, and it's like, but why though? But
Yeah.
there is a lot. There's a lot to unpack when it comes to that, though, especially with the black community, and that is another topic for another
Mhm.
episode. But but
Oh,
I
definitely.
we will definitely
But
explore
saying
that,
like,
guys.
back to her nephew.
Mhm.
I love that she took him under her wing, and especially when he was doing the introduction in the studio.
God,
And
yes.
when the band members were like, he can't do it, he stutters. She's like, who? The boys that work for me?
Like, she
The
got.
way she answered back to the white man
Oh.
was just like, you're not gonna run my band. That's my band. I pay them. You don't pay them. And she's like, no, he's gonna do it. Give him a mic. He's gonna do it.
Mhm.
And when he did it without stuttering, when he introduced her,
Yep.
The look when the camera switched on her, like the happy mother look of her child's success. It was beautiful that she believed in him, even when the band members were making fun of him because he stutters.
Especially Levy. Oh my god.
You
He
know,
was relentless. I'm like, this poor
because
kid.
a lot of them like you're a mom's nephew. What are you gonna do? She wants you to do what? No, you can't do it. You stutter.
It's a heavy stutter too, yo.
You know,
So I didn't blame the band members going like, you sure this is a
but
good
like
idea?
she believed in him, but at the same time, it was more of an order, like you're gonna do this, or you're not gonna embarrass me type of thing in her tone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the look she was giving him, like you're not gonna mess this up because I said you're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like wow, how firm was she? But I honestly wanted more of her
Yeah.
in this little short script play movie, whatever we want to call it. I want more of her, more of her background, more of her song. It was great for the little short part that it was, but it's still, as an audience, we wanted more. It wasn't enough. It was like so much emotion, so much trauma to explore. It was just, again, too short, but it was very, very, very outstandingly done. Do you want to talk about her makeup?
I like I just like the dramatic approach to her makeup. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it is noticeable. Like for me, I'm like, can she like clean that up a little bit? I'll admit, I was just like,
Dumb for a reason.
I
That's how I
what?
honestly felt. Like I was like, is that necessary? All that around her eyes, was that necessary?
Right. But you're right. It
And
was
when
done for a reason.
you she wore that black, but then if you see her actual Ma Rainey black or white, and the way she was dressed, it wasn't as over dramatic, or maybe because it was in black and white.
Well, that's because it was in black and white. Like there's certain makeup that people wear in order for their features to pop in black and white
Mm-hmm.
versus like just
Mm-hmm.
the regular makeup that we would wear. There
Mm-hmm.
was actually special like stage makeup that they would have them
Mm-hmm.
put on in order for their portrait to be taken, in order for them to be,
Yeah.
seen, recorded, because it was like you said, it was all black and white. So that's probably why. But of course, there was some sort of significance to it from her end as to why
Yeah.
her makeup was so dramatic. Because also she was a performer, you know.
That, yeah, especially that. They definitely have to stand out. But
Mhm.
her dress was the one she wore to recording Savior.
Yeah.
But what threw me off was the scarf that she wore around.
Mhm.
It made me feel like, I don't want to say it, but slave vibe, plantation vibes. When
Uh
you
huh.
have to wear something there to hold it up,
Uh huh. I didn't think of it that way.
you know? But
Hmm.
I was just like, why are we still holding into that?
Well.
You made it this far, but I know it's still fresh,
Mhm.
as I want to choose my words wisely at this moment. But
Right.
it's just like, wait a minute, why do you still have that around your waist?
Mhm.
Is it comfort? Is it support? Is it something you're holding on to? Is it trauma you're not willing to let go?
Yeah.
And then even during the recording session when she stood up, she legit tied it again. And it felt like she was tying her dress on it to lift her dress up, and then she took off her shoes.
Mhm.
It's just like, wow, so it is a form of comfort for you. It's just interesting.
The detail to all of this, when you look at a film like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, you always have to remember this is a period piece. Even if it was a play, it was still based on an actual figure from that time. And
Mhm.
I was able to differentiate and go back and forth because a lot of the themes in this movie, in this story, still reflects what is happening right now, especially especially with Black people in the entertainment industry. We've been talking about this so much in our past episodes, how they're treated, how they're viewed, all of this, and it's still the same thing. And I want to actually focus now on like as much as I agree with you, I would have loved to see more of Ma Rainey. Like, who is this woman? But we all know that the the story also focused a lot on the band members, especially Levy.
Yeah.
And I found it fascinating how much of that focus is on these particular characters and the themes. Like, let's say for like what Toledo, I believe the piano player, um,
Mm-hmm.
kept lecturing Levy about, having a good time. And because, Levy had big dreams of having his own band and being this crazy awesome trumpet player, well known all over the country, blah 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 blah. And then, he's all about having a good time and tearing up the floor and having everybody up out of their seats. Okay, great, fine. But, you got Toledo stepping in and going, well, all that's fine and dandy. What about building something from that? You know?
Mm-hmm.
that that sort of it was a lecture, but at the same time it was a message that even right now it's like, okay, but we got to build for our people, we got to build for our community, we got to take ourselves out and stop depending on the white man, stop depending. And I found it so fascinating how, I don't know, levy levy was a mixed bag for me. Like, you think that he had something up his sleeve, but in the end he really didn't. He really didn't. To me, he was full of hot air, and he took it out on the wrong person. And
That's
honestly,
what we do even nowadays.
yeah, that hurts. That hurt me a lot because, and it infuriated me because towards the last, what, 10, 15 minutes of the story,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you see Levy trying to kiss up to God, what was his name?
Producer.
The producer. He's got new music, who he was told, like, yeah, make new music and show it to me, and maybe we'll cut a deal or something like that. And he was all excited about it. The other band members were making fun of him for kissing up to the white man, and he goes on this monologue about how he's just biding his time because of what happened to him as a child, to his
Yeah.
mom, to his father, and all of that. And I'm just like, okay, I get it, I understand, it's an act.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the last 15 minutes, not even last 10 minutes, to me it didn't look like an act at all, because the disappointment of this producer, he goes up to the producer and he's like, okay, so what do you think, blah blah blah. And the producer, excuse me, just straight up lies to him and is like, nah, it's not what we're looking for right now. Just gives him $5,
Yeah,
and
$5
goes
for it.
$5 for it. And then you see him turn around and use that same music. He lied to this young black man of not being useful, not being in the now, to a completely bland and flavorless white band.
Yeah. Again, that happens nowadays
Even
when
now, that happens.
big
Exactly.
companies still steal from the young black art upcoming artists.
Exactly.
Writers, producers, directors, screenplayers, actual actors, nobody's getting their worth. They
And
lied to him, they
yep.
took his song and he turned around and did it with an entire white band with a white singer.
Hmm. And in
And made
anger,
way more profit than those $5 a pop.
of course.
But it's just the whole thing, that whole scene, it just, when he was talking about his childhood trauma, when he was talking about how his dad saved up money to buy that land, and
Hmm.
how the black folks around his father made fun of him and called him names because he did something for his family.
Hmm.
It was the same thing that was happening in Levy from the same band members.
Yeah.
If him having ambition was an issue to them. But why are you bothered by it? Why don't you have ambition too?
Exactly. Well, remember, they're old men, though.
That's what I'm saying. Even the ones that were relatively close to his age, but it was
Hmm.
still just the mentality of black men back that day. That's like, we can't do it. Massa has to keep handing things to us, even if we're
Hmm.
free,
Yep.
basically. So when he said it, how his dad saved up and bought that land, how his neighbors attacked his father and called him a uppity nigga for buying land at that time. They were free. Why couldn't he buy something and invest for his family? And now the fact that he was ambitious enough to believe this producer and do the notes to the song and write it the way he felt it should be written for his generation.
Hmm.
And he looked actually he had an oversight to music for Fresher New Day.
Yep.
Like Ma Rainey's genre is amazing and all, but again, newer generations add a little flavor and twist to the new song.
That's true.
You know, and not all the time people want to sit down and watch the performer. You know, you want to get up and dance at some point. You want to get up and clap. You want to get up and do something, react to the music, and
Right.
help you feel it. And he did that for his generation. So when he did that, it really bothered me. Like the ending scene with him in the basement and with them, she fired him and the guy stealing his music and telling him, I'm just going to give, okay, if it wasn't worthy, why are you paying him for it? Before he went on and did that, like, why are you paying him if his music wasn't worthy? And then when they kept stepping on his shoes.
See, that was an
and
accident.
they kept making fun of his shoes.
Well, they made fun of his shoes, like, okay, the shoes thing, okay. That was the point for me where I'm like, so there's something gonna happen with the shoes. I don't know. And I wasn't wrong. Cause yeah, he got the shoes because he's a flashy character. You know? That's his character. He likes them shoes. Personally, I thought they were I like them shoes too, because that speaks to my tacky side.
They were $11.
Right.
What $11 could do to a person at that time?
$11. I'm like, whoa. It's like a pair of Jordans.
Like $11.
Oh my god.
But it was just like the way a black man presents himself. You see new shoes, you buy it, you wear it, you feel like $1 million walking. That's any of us with any fresher outfit on.
Absolutely.
You walking around, you freaking the whole eyes on you. You wearing something that you feel you the shit in, you gonna be the shit in.
Exactly.
And that's how he was. He walked with a whole swagger. That man just stepped in, you noticed his shoes.
Yep.
And the fact that they're $11 at that time made it a little extra special. And they just looked at him for like, why would you do that? When another band member was wearing some old, very raggedy shoes.
Yes.
But I was just like, bruh, he sees himself in a different spotlight. He's young, he wanna live his life. He's gonna get all the honeys just for them shoes.
Exactly. Let him be. Let him, let him spend his money how he wants to spend it.
Like it's still like we said, if we're gonna tie the movie to nowadays, it's just the fight between the older generation and the newer generation.
And it's always been a thing, though. It's always been a constant.
That's what I feel like. It's so many relatable things. The black and white fights, the black and black fights. You know, the white supremacy and how people see it. And how Ma Rainey just don't give a shit about it. Because like she said, they don't want nothing from me but my music. So she's going to drag it out. She's not going to give it to them right away.
And then she had to have her Coca-Cola.
Exactly.
2 bottles.
Like, you're cheap ass. Paid all that. And then we're like, oh, when the band members walked in at the beginning, I was pissed off when they got those sandwiches for them. But then why couldn't they be in the studio room practicing? Why did they have to go in a dirty room in the basement? Like, why? No. But it was just interesting, the whole thing. And I was just like, okay, and he brought in the sandwiches and Ma's out there fighting. And I was just like, holy shit. But I loved how she stood to that police officer. And I saw every black woman in America today standing up that way too.
Oh, anywhere. Not just in America, everywhere.
You know?
We do not care. Mess with us, we
It reminded me of that scene. I don't know which part of South America it was when the mom held the sword to an officer's neck.
Yeah, I think it
while
was
her
the
son is on the floor.
Wasn't it a Dominican Republic? I think it was the Dominican Republic. It was a movie.
It was just very, like, that image
Very
just
dramatic.
came into my head when she took off her hat and approached that officer and he took a step back.
Honestly, no. This was also, God, what was her name? I feel so bad forgetting her name. It was also a black and white photo of like this woman being confronted by police. She was just standing there smoking her cigarette like she didn't care. I'm like, shit. This was in the 60s. I forgot.
But that's like, this is the black woman throughout history.
Like, we do.
This is an everyday black woman.
We don't care. Like, tell me something. Like, try me, white
officer.
officer.
He got pissed off. He's like, let me tell the story like it is. Let me tell the story. Let me tell my story. She's like, no, if you're going to tell it like it is. Don't twist it. Don't add nothing to it. Just tell it like it is. But I'm like, we're gonna talk about that then. Never tell you the story like it is.
Nope.
Man, she was a powerful piece of machine.
She was.
That's why I would have loved to see more of her.
Honestly.
Like we said, the whole movie was just focused on that recording session.
And the
but the little bits and pieces adds to it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the thing that killed me the most, though, like going back to Levy just losing himself at the end of the story, having having been fired, having his music just stolen from him, and one of the band members accidentally stepping on his shoes. Even though they were brushing it off, he just wouldn't let go about the fact that they stepped on his shoes, that Toledo stepped on his shoes. And I'm just like, oh, this is not good. That's the talk of Crazy Man. And of course he brandished his knife and stabbed Toledo in the back. And it pissed me off because it was not fiction. This thing still happens. This very thing still happens. You have a black man completely wronged by a white man, and he takes it out on his own. And it's like, what exactly is he going to lose if he stepped up to this producer and told him, well, give me back my music. Here's the money. Give it back to me now. You don't have any faith in it. I'm going to take it somewhere else or do it on my own. Like, why like that was the thing that bothered me the absolute most. Like, why couldn't he bother to do that? Because when we saw that last scene of that white band doing the most bland rendition of that music, I'm just like, hold on. Let the descendants of these colonizers, the very colonizers who had the audacity to go all over the world, steal and damage and burn half the world down for their own comfort, steal spices, okay, and not even have and have the nerve to not even use these spices, because there's the lack of it right there. There's the porridge with no seasoning. There are the grits with no seasoning. Okay, that's a debate. Southerners, don't come after me with that. But seriously though, seriously. And I'm just like, it's always like that every single time. And actually, when I watched this movie with my dad, it reminded me of a scene from a Little Richard biopic of almost the very same thing happening. Like, everything that he recorded, they would give it to the white man, and the white man would make more money off of that record. And I think Little Richard picked up on that, and he just kept singing faster and faster and faster until nobody could keep up with him. And I'm just like, we need more of that.
But my thing was, like, he was in so much trauma, he didn't know what to do. And for him, his shoes, they symbolize more than just fresh shoes.
Yeah, they did.
So when you step on it, you're stepping on him, you're stepping on his hopes, you're stepping on his dreams, you're stepping on his ambition, and then you're stepping on his trauma and everything he lived through as a child. And now, he was promised something. And like any other black person in this country or anywhere around the world, the white man lied again.
Right. Exactly.
But for a younger generation, the older generation understood that. But they were saying it as a mockery and as a joke to him. They weren't even giving advice in the right way. And then they make fun of him for it. So all of that inside of him, and then you're calling him arrogant and all of that, he was ambitious. But his ambition was a little arrogance, but that's how he felt he should carry himself. He saw how his father, what his father been through, what his mother been through, and how they were kind to people. He decided to change his attitude. Maybe that will make him win in life. The trauma that lives with us growing up, But I was like, at the same time, like, all of these feelings, like, overtook his soul in that last scene. And all it took was for that person to step on his shoes. And shoes for a black man is a big deal. You don't step on a black man's shoes.
You gonna create a nigga moment. Boondocks.
There you go. Hey, don't step on my J's like freaking Nelly said.
Oh my God.
Don't do it. And And honestly, that's the black, even a black man, a black boy moment. Don't step on, you stepped on my shoes. You need to apologize. You need to say something. But he did it on the first time. He's like, I'm sorry, it was an accident. He let it go and he wiped off his shoes. But with all the emotions that are stuck in him, with the trauma, with everything that's bottled up from, the producer talking to him, it just took that, I stepped on it.
Oh
I'm gonna
well.
say sorry again. But no, that was it. That's it. That was the straw for him.
That moment was just horrifying to me.
Yeah, because his trauma. You seen, and honestly, rest in peace, Chadwick. The way he played it, he just overtook the scene with so much power and so much. I feel like he lived it.
I was about to
I felt
say.
like he was there.
Right.
The
It's like
emotions, I feel like, I'm honestly like, what went through your head for you to bring that scene? What actually happened for you to feel like we lived this with you?
he was probably wrong too.
That's
At
like
some
one
point.
of the most painful scenes to watch. And I was like, wow, the amount of like, even when he was speaking of the trauma as a child, how his eye was just freaking twitching and how his cheeks was just, I was just like, what the F is going on? And then for him, that scene when he talked about God, oh my God, that was so overwhelmingly emotional to watch. Actually, this man should win an Oscar for this. That's all I'm gonna say. If he don't, then F you Oscars.
Well,
I mean,
Oscars is rigged by the white man. Come on
I'm
now.
saying, but give him his flowers.
Right,
Give his fans
something.
his flowers.
Right.
Because honestly, like even though this movie is about Ma Rainey, but goddamn, Chadwick stole the whole freaking show.
He did.
Like, it's like he knew this was his last thing, and he went out with a big hoorah.
With a bang.
Like, hey, but it's honestly one of the best characters that he portrayed. And the way he played it made all of us believe it and live the trauma with him. And when he was questioning God and everything, I felt like, oh my God. I was just like, wow. And for a black man to talk about God like that.
Yep.
Oh, Lord. It's like,
the layers.
You can't find words.
The layers.
And the depth he went in. Ooh. And I was just like, oh, God, y'all going to have a good conversation when you're up there hanging out with him. You were like, I know you were acting, but we need to talk about this.
The curious thing about it, though, about the whole thing was his fascination with what was behind that door. Like, he just kept going at it. He finally found out.
And when the door opened,
it was just another space, a smaller one. Kind of like...
Was it a room with no ceiling?
Yeah. Like, it just opened up. It was outside, but it opened up to the sky only.
That thing, too, like, you put them down there, and then that room is closed. You're basically telling them, don't touch that door.
Right.
So why are they in that little room with an old piano there? When they, like it gets said again, they could be practicing upstairs in the actual recording studio.
Right. Like any other band.
Exactly. But no, they're a black band.
They gotta go downstairs.
Yep.
And when we found out what was in that space, 1,000 things just went through my mind going, this probably was a torture space. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. I'm going maybe extreme.
It threw me off.
It threw me off too. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I was just like, wait, what? It's just another room with no ceiling?
And I'm like, that was there for a reason. That was there for a reason. Maybe it was a reminder. Maybe it was... Who knows?
It made me feel like it just made his hopes and reality sink. Because he was just hope. That whole room was just hope for me in that movie with him. At least that's what he was feeling. That's what he was thinking. He was thinking there was something more behind that door. but you open it and it's nothing. It's literally just nothing. Let that sink in.
Hmm.
Yeah. But overall, like mixed emotions, good days. Characters were outstandingly performed.
Mm-hmm.
Viola, as usual, wow.
Of course.
It's just,
I enjoyed it.
I did too. And honestly, it's a good movie to see, even if it's just like a play like, you know, but it's still, it's very informative, it's very relatable to our days now.
Mm-hmm.
And it does speak a lot about the Black trauma that we still live.
And I think that's the reason why I enjoyed it, but at the same time I'm like, I am tired of these type of stories. I don't know.
Because you
Because
relate.
you relate and it's like that, but that's all we see from our people though. Like those kind of stories. And it's like I know our people are made up of more than
Mm-hmm.
just these type of traumatic stories though. Like even if like this is again, this is gonna be a whole episode or BTS, whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for me personally, it's just one of those things where can you tell a story of just black people in a time period where they're not discriminated against for existing for once? You can have a story about the zombie apocalypse during the Civil War and there's still slavery. There's still discrimination. You could talk about a story in the 1950s about aliens and black people for some reason are still discriminated against with aliens. And it's like, come on now. Come on.
Lord.
This is a wonderful story. I'm pretty sure it could be a fictional account of an actual recording situation with Ma
Mm-hmm.
Rainey, but and it's informative and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's part of history. I applaud that. I would love, yes, more of that so we can keep informing our brothers and sisters and people outside of our community. But also, I would like to see more stories where, for once, Black people are not spat upon for existing. For
Yes.
once, just come on.
So, our history keep getting stolen, our music keep getting stolen,
Right.
our creativity keep getting stolen,
Hmm.
our whole existence keep getting stolen.
I mean, there has to
But
be a
give
point
credit
where
where
we
credit is due.
do. Exactly. There has to be a point where we literally put our actual feet down and stop this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we'll keep creating. We're just full of creativity. We're blessed that way. But
So
we
DNA.
need to protect that. Damn, I'm mad. I'm
Yes.
mad right now.
I know.
I am mad.
'Cause it's like the movie starts out beautifully, but just the ending itself is just wow.
Mm, yep.
But overall, amazing, amazing, amazing. Recommended, recommended,
Yes.
recommended.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Thank you
Got
all so
anything more to
much.
say?
No, I was gonna say thank you guys so much for listening to us ramble about this wonderful story, about this awesome story. Hopefully, we'll have more reviews out and about for you guys to listen to and to give your opinion on. Give your opinion on this too. What do you guys think of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? What was your feeling about the whole thing? What was your favorite part? Who gave such a stunning performance for you? Who didn't? I don't know. But what stood out to y'all? I want to know.
Recommendations as well that you want us to do a review on, that would be amazing.
Absolutely. Give us
Mhm.
recommendations, y'all. We'd like to watch stuff. I love to watch stuff when I have the time and I don't smell bullcrap from a mile away. I'm a hard person to please.
Oh,
Y'all got a challenge, but
yes, do it, y'all. Challenge her now, ASAP. Hit her up, swipe up, share, like, subscribe, write in a
absolutely.
comment. Paulina, we need you to do 1, 2, 3.
No. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening in. Thank you, Mervet, for speaking with me on this.
Mhm.
You guys
Have
stay.
a good night.
Yes, you guys stay safe. Of course, follow us on our social media, Afro_AI, on YouTube, Afro Anime Initiative, one long word, in both Facebook and Instagram, and Afro_AI on our Twitter. I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting something else. I will put the link down in the subscription. The links down in the I cannot talk, in the
Twitter,
description
Twitter,
box.
Twitter.
Yes. And like I said, take care. Please stay safe. It's brutal out there. Weather.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye.
Peace.